What's up, y'all? It's your man Pristine, back with another video. Welcome to Clash of Two Titans in 2019. On the left, we've got the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. On the right, we've got the LG G8. Thin Q. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, price for both these phones. S10 Plus, $1,000 plus. LG G8, $619. You tell me. You know what I'm saying? Is the price hike for the S10 Plus really warranted? Is it justified over the $619 asking price for the LG G8? Let's see. Let's find out about that. Now, the specs. Both of these phones have the Snapdragon 855 processor. Okay. Samsung's got an octa-core CPU. So does the LG G8. The G8 has an Adreno 640 GPU. The S10 Plus also has an Adreno 640 GPU. They both have 128 gigs of onboard storage that can be expanded. The S10 Plus have 8 gigabytes of RAM. The G8 only has 6 gigabytes of RAM. Okay. Both of them are running Android 9 Pie. And both of them can expand the storage up to 512 gigs. All right. Now, so it's like, okay, well, the specs are identical. So it's like, that doesn't really tell us much about the price hike. So let's dive a little deeper into it. Okay, now the build quality. We've got Corning Gorilla Glass 6 on the S10 Plus on the rear, Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front. Now, also on the LG G8, we've got Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, and we've got Corning Gorilla Glass 6 also on the back of the LG G8. Okay. Yeah, I mean, build quality, identical, pretty much. I mean, even all the way down to the button placement. You've got the home button, which is right here on the LG G8, and you also have the home button, which is right here also on the right on the S10 Plus. We've got the volume rockers on the same side. Volume rockers for the up and down are on the left side of the phones on both. And then directly underneath that volume key right here, we've got a dedicated Google Assistant button, and we have our own, underneath the volume rocker on the S10 Plus, a dedicated Bixby button. These phones seem to be very identical in a lot of ways. So it's like, what constitutes the price hike for the Samsung? You know, I'm scratching my head on this one. Okay, performance. Well, like I said, I mean, you know, I read the specs. You know, they both have the 855 processor. They both, you know, have, you know, more gigs of RAM than what we need. You know what I mean? The Samsung being 2 more gigs of RAM than the G8. You know, the G8 has 6 gigs of RAM. The S10 Plus has 8 gigs of RAM. I mean, some may consider that to be overkill for both devices. Some people feel like you only need like maybe 2 to 3 gigs of RAM, maybe 4, you know what I'm saying, for a phone to do exactly what you need to do, but there, you know, for there to not be any lag or hiccups or stutters or anything. You know, 4 gigs of RAM, you know, will do you just fine. You know, look at the iPhones. That's even overkill. 4 gigs of RAM for the newer iPhones, the iPhone XS and the XS Max. I mean, those phones perform beautifully, and that A12 Bionic chip ain't no punk by any stretch of the imagination. Not to say that the 855 chipsets that are in both of these devices is, but I'm just saying, performance battle between this 855 and the A12 Bionic, that A12 Bionic got it. Straight up. With less RAM. You know, so it's like, I mean, is all those gigabytes of RAM really necessary? Well, probably not, but they're here. So I gotta imagine that that's probably, another addition to why we're paying these premium prices. But yet and still doesn't really explain why the S10 Plus is so much more expensive than the G8 here. All right. So, performance, both of these phones are going to perform, buttery smooth. Now, let's see. Let me go ahead and connect the Wi-Fi here, just so that we've got a level playing field, because I don't have my SIM card in my G8, but it's in my S10 Plus. So now that they're both connected to the same network, let's see. I mean, speed test. Oh, well, I think the Bible app was already open. So let's close everything. All right, let's close everything. Okay. And let's see. Just open up a couple of applications. Okay, well, that's to be expected. I mean, they opened up at the same time. For those of you that feel like more gigs of RAM on one phone, or one phone having more gigs of RAM than the other one, who feels like that may, boost performance. Okay, well, let's test that theory. Okay, you just saw those two apps. They opened up at the same time. All right, let's take it to Spotify real quick. All right. Pretty much identical to me with Spotify. Okay. All right, let's go to SoundCloud real quick. I mean, seems like the S10 Plus got there maybe just maybe a half a second quicker. I mean, hard to tell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was close. All right, let's go shopping. Let's go to Best Buy. All right. I mean, did the Samsung hair quicker? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, it's that close. It's hard to tell. All right, let's go shop. Let's go to Amazon real quick. Let's see. Boom. Identical. You know what I mean? So, whether you got 6 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM, the fact of the matter is, if you decide to go with any one of these phones, you're beasting cats. You know what I'm saying? You're doing what you need to do in a hurry. Some of your most graphically intense games, you're playing them with no problems, with not having to scale back resolution or anything like that. You're just doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you got monstrous devices in your hands with either one of these phones. Now, y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I'm still not seeing reasons as to why the S10 Plus is significantly higher cost than the G8 here. I mean, from what I'm showing here, the G8 is looking damn good right now. You know what I'm saying? Sitting at a cool $619 price point. And I understand that, a lot of people may say that's still hella money, man. That's hella expensive. And I get that. You're right. But for a flagship in 2019 with all these top end specs, you can't expect not to pay a premium price. And I'm all about saving a buck. So if I can get all the premium specs for a lesser amount of money, then from what I just showed, who am I going with? Who you going with? You know what I'm saying? Man, let's keep it going. So, performance was a tie to me. I didn't see anything on the Samsung or the LG, to where one, just did something or just completely outperformed the other one. And I know we're just talking about opening applications. I mean, that's a simple task, but hey, I mean, it is what it is, Cameras. Now, this may be where, the Samsung just kind of, pulls away slightly because, the Samsung just has more cameras. You know what I'm saying? On the front of the Samsung, right? Well, it's got that dark mode thing. And see, that's one thing that I will say that the Samsung is edging the LG. The LG, there's no dark mode. And I understand that people have just been hitting me in the comments like, oh, man, you just go into accessibility and do color diversion. I mean, I get that. I know how to do that, but I don't like doing that because it's like, yeah, it may darken the screen, but then all the dialogue, the words and everything turn funny colors, purplish or like a bright orange or like a neon green or something like that. It's like, dark mode to me is dark mode. Dark everything out, all the backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I mean, anything that I may need to read, keep it white. Simple. You know what I'm saying? Like Samsung has done on their One UI. Dope. You know what I'm saying? You can just, man, your quick toggles. Where's it at? Night mode. See what I'm talking about? It's just a click of a button. You know what I'm saying? Now, the LG is getting dumped on, you know what I'm saying, by that dark mode feature that Samsung has on their phone, man. I mean, but you know, that's you know, that's them small, that's minor. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, me personally, I'm in the dark mode. So much to a point to where now it's like if a phone ain't got dark mode, I may be like, oh no, man. I mean, it's not a determining factor. But cameras, as I mentioned, okay, on the S10 Plus here, we have a 10 megapixel primary sensor and an 8 megapixel depth sensor. Yes, it is a telephoto sensor. We do have 2x optical zoom. Okay, in comparison to the LG G8 that has just a single 8 megapixel sensor. Now be mindful, this is an 8 megapixel time of flight 3D sensor, but it's not, there's no telephoto secondary lens, so we don't have the 2x optical zoom. And I've also noticed that on the LG G8 here, on the front facing camera, we do not have the ability, as we saw on the V40 and the G7, and even though it was a single a front facing camera, we still had the ability to change whether or not we wanted that wide angle aspect ratio, or not aspect ratio, but that wide angle lens capability. You know what I mean? You had the two little options to take a standard photo or a wide angle photo. Well, they've taken that away in the G8. You can do it on the rear camera on the G8, because the rear camera on the G8 has a 12 megapixel primary and a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle, and you're able to change between both. But Samsung was like, well, you know, we're tired of hearing about LG and what it has, you know, with this, you know, wide angle and super wide angle. So Samsung just tore a page out LG's book and bit them, copied it. And I think, in my opinion, did it colder, because when you that the wide angle feature on the Samsung is a wider field of view than it is on the LG. And I'm like, man, that's cold, Samsung. That wasn't even yours. They just straight up stole that. But they're like, okay, well, that's one of the things that we keep hearing as to why people keep saying that, you know, this is a reason for LG to one up us. Well, let's just nip that in the bud. Let's just steal the tech. Let's just take the tech, put it in our new device, and then at that point, all bets are gonna be off, because LG ain't gonna have nothing to talk about. They can sit there and say all they want to. Oh, well, we got the wide angle lens. Well, now we can say we got it too, bruh. What you want to do? That's what Samsung, they pounding on their chest like, we got that feature now, LG. What you want to do? You know what I'm saying? That's cold, man. Y'all some cold mother suckers, Samsung. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is, man. I guess all is fair in love and tech. You know what I'm saying? All is fair, man. You know, LG didn't put no patents on it, and you've been seeing these wide angle features in a lot of different devices. So, you know, I gotta say, in the camera department, I mean, Samsung is one up in the LG. Now, as far as camera quality, I mean, I think you can't go wrong with either one of them. I think the Samsung is a little bit better as far as camera quality goes. You know what I mean? They both take stunning photos. They both take really good video. You do have the ability to record in 4K at 30 or 60 frames per second. You know, so you've got that capability on both cameras. Now, I will say that one thing where the LG G8 edges the Samsung is the V series. The LG V series, which the V stands for video, and a lot of its implementations have now been put into the G8. And so the gap has been kind of bridged a little bit, or it's been, the gap has been kind of absorbed, you know, as far as like the differences between the camera versus the G series and the V series. They've kind of bridged that gap a little bit, and the two are very similar now. And so a lot of the features and functions that you would want to go with an LG V device for, you can now find here in the G8, and that seems to be a little bit more immersive than what we find here on the S10 Plus. I mean, so, the G8's got that going for it. Okay, so it sounds like even though the Samsung has more camera lenses, that I think puts out a tad bit better picture quality overall, the G8, which also takes stunning photos, is going to give you the ability to do a little bit more. If you're a content creator, media and all that kind of thing, man, the G8 is the G8's probably going to be the one that you're going to want to go with. Not to say that the Samsung is a punk, because it ain't, but it just can't do what the G8 can do in that particular department. But I mean, as far as just point and shoot, whether it be photos and video, I think overall the quality is just a tad bit better on the Samsung, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen with my own two eyes. All right. Now, battery life. The G8, we've got a 3,500 milliamp hour battery, non-removable. On the S10 Plus, we got a 4,100 milliamp hour battery. Both batteries are going to last all day with no problems. That was, in my personal opinion, personal usage for me. I've had not a problem with battery life on any one of these devices. I mean, so I'm going to say, due to my own personal experience, battery life is not a problem on any one of these devices. Okay, we do have a bigger battery in the S application on the S10 Plus. Another thing about the S10 Plus is, again, I love that night mode feature. The G8 does not have the night mode feature. Okay, I mean, I understand that people are just like, hey, okay, if you go into here, let's do this. All right, so because I already know that, where's accessibility? Okay, if we go into accessibility, and where's it at? Wallpaper, theme, comfort view. It's not comfort view because that's just like, God, where's it at? There's like a feature, it's called like color correction or something. Let's go to vision, see if it's under that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, high contrast screen or screen color inversion. Says the colors on the screen will be inverted for people with low vision. Okay, so if you turn that on, okay, there's a dark mode right there. Okay, that's actually not bad. Okay, that's actually not bad. When I've done this on other devices, now that's what I'm talking about. Now see, that's what I don't like. So now it's like when I double tap and then double tap to go back into my screen, we still have that nice little animation, but look at that. The colors are inverted. Now some of you guys may think that looks cool. To me, that's not attractive to me. That's not attractive to me. Okay, so, I mean, I'm going to go back into that and change it back just because I don't want my lock screen wallpaper colors to be inverted like that. Okay? All right, so, I've been the one that you can do that, but I just don't like the fact that it darkens the phone backgrounds and everything, but then it changes the colors for everything else, and I don't like that. I'm just talking about like a dedicated dark mode where it doesn't change, like my wallpaper for my Samsung. That's what it is. I mean, it's gonna keep as you can see, the facial recognition is lightning quick, but you don't see like that color inversion on my wallpaper for my home screen or for my lock screen. You know what I mean? So I'm just talking about like a dedicated night mode where it darkens everything, but it doesn't change the colors on anything else that you may have on your lock screen or anything like that. I just like Samsung's implementation. Now, if we pop in the settings, one of the major things that I love about the LG device is the fact that it gives us the ability to either have a list view, which this is the conventional way of Android devices, or to have a tab view where it completely categorizes everything, and you've got network, sound, display, and general. And each and every one of those settings is under its own category. And there's a lot of stuff to play with here, as you guys can see. Okay, I'm a huge fan of that. I've never seen any other Android device that gives you the ability to do that, to switch how you want to view your settings. Okay, now I am a big fan of the fact that how Samsung with the One UI, although it's a list view, I like how they did it, because it's like, I don't know if you can see like these little gray bars. Like I like the dark mode, but everything is like categorized in these little gray bars. Okay. And, you just click on it, sounds and vibration, notification, display, whatever you're looking for, you just tap on it and it's going to take you to whatever those settings are. But I like the look of it. You know what I mean? And I feel like, just stock Android is just so plain Jane. Like the way that the settings menu looks on like the Pixels and stuff like that, or just other stock Android devices. I mean, it's just so plain. It's boring. There's no pizzazz, or there's nothing really special about it. You know what I mean? Which is why I can't understand why people actually prefer that. Like, it's like, I want something exciting. I want something that looks different. You know what I mean? As opposed to just the same old boring look on every single Android smartphone. To me, that's just not appealing. And so I like what both of these devices are doing with their own UI, just giving you options and different looks. Samsung's come a long way from TouchWiz to this One UI. This One UI is dope. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I noticed that when I put the phone down and I'm rocking with other devices, I start jonesing for it again, man. And it's like, I can't wait to get it back in my hands. I mean, and that's a good thing. Because a lot of times the way that I run through phones, it's like, man, I buy these phones, feature them on the channel, keep them for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and then, I slang them, I sell them, you know what I'm saying? Put them on OfferUp or Craigslist, sell them for, I mean, everything I own is kept in pristine condition, which is why my name is Pristine. That's the reason why my channel's name is Pristine Tech, because everything I own is, if you get something from me, it's like you're getting it in like brand new tip-top condition. You know what I mean? But, a lot of these phones, I mean, I've used them for a little bit, so I can't turn around and sell them for unopened box prices. So I sell them at a little bit of a discount, and then, that money I take and I just use that to buy other phones that I want to feature here on the channel. So, I got a little business going. A lot of times I'm like, yo, that's how I keep this thing going. But I'm like, man, this Samsung ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? This Samsung, I'm turned out by this Samsung right now, man. And that's a first, because a lot of times Samsungs, it's like I get them and I get bored with them real quick. But there's something that keeps me gravitated, that keeps me interested in this S10 Plus. Not to say anything about the LG, but truth be told, I'll probably hang on to the Samsung longer than I will the LG, because even though the LG has some new and exciting things, it's still more along the lines of what I've seen for a lot of other LG devices. Not really too much of a difference, aside from the fact, okay, yeah, it's got the new updated processor. Okay, cameras have been upped a little bit. We got 6 gigs of RAM now in the G series. Expandable storage, all that thing. Both of these phones are IP68 water and dust resistant. I mean, so if you're curious about that, they both have that. Like I said, they're both wireless charge compatible. But yeah, I mean, I feel like out of the comparison between these two, I feel like Samsung made the bigger jump from the previous device to this one than what LG did from its previous device to the G8, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So out of these two devices, and there's a lot more features and functions that I can talk about with these phones, man. I mean, they both are packing a lot of things that they can do, a lot of things that you can customize and change. I'll be here all night, and I don't want this video to be 30 minutes to an hour just trying to break down all that stuff. I'm gonna just try to keep it simple and stop with where I'm at. Now, the question that you have to ask yourself is, out of what I've showed you in this comparison video, was there anything that would warrant the additional monies that Samsung is charging for the S10 Plus here versus what LG is charging for the LG G8? Like I said, the G8 is going for $619 at T-Mobile. That's the cheapest that I've seen it. Okay, and you could also get this slick carmine red color. This is the exclusive color to T-Mobile, as far as I know. Okay, now, and as far as just the sexiness, oh my goodness. I mean, both of these phones, like this. I forgot that. What is this color? This color. I know this is the carmine red. Got my cheat sheet here. Okay, so the Samsung. This is prism white. To me, this is pearl white. To me, I've had a couple cars that were this color. It was white, but it was like a white, it had a pearl to it. Like, you know, when the light shined on it, sunlight or whatever, it would kind of change colors, pink, purple, all that kind of thing. Well, the Samsung has the same thing going on. I'm not sure if you guys can get that effect by shining in the light. I mean, you have to have this phone in your hand. Like, see, like right there, how it looks blue? And now it looks white again. And now it looks kind of like purplish or something. It's weird, but it's dope, and I like it. And even though red is my favorite color, I feel like I'm feeling the sexiness of the Samsung a little more, and just those curved edges too. As far as how the phone feels in hand, I mean, they both feel good in the hand, but the fact that the edges are curved on the S10 Plus the way that they are, it just feels really good in the hand, man. And it's a bigger phone. I mean, it's got a 6.4 inch display as opposed to the 6.1 inch display that's on the G8 here. Both of them are AMOLED displays. But I mean, we all know whose display is a tad bit better. I can't sit there and say that the display on the Samsung is just completely blowing the one on the G8 out of the water, because the G8 has a damn good display. Now, some might argue, oh, well, it's got the notch. You know, Samsung, you know, they just got the little, you know, they got the little hole punch out, you know, cut out there. You know, people don't really seem to be bothered by that as much as they are the notch at the top. Me, I'm not bothered by any of that stuff. You know what I mean? I like the bigger aspect ratios, you know, the taller form factors, how they're getting bigger screens and slimmer form factors. I'm a big fan of that. It just looks slicker. I like the feel of it. And so either one of these devices, I mean, they've definitely got some sex appeal. They're definitely going to turn heads, in my personal opinion. All right. So there's just a quick comparison, going over some of, not all of the things that these phones can do, but some of the most prominent things that I thought was worthy of being good talking points. Which one of these devices would you guys choose if you had to choose one? Okay? If you had to pay for one of these devices, which one would you pay for? I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, damn, you know, that's easy, Pristine. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go with the cheaper option because the LG is offering pretty much everything that the Samsung is offering at a cheaper cost. But then there may be some things about the Samsung that the LG may not have, just little details, and people may not be tripping over paying the extra, you know, ponying up the extra cash to get their hands on the S10 because of something that it may have over the G8. I'm curious to know what you guys would decide upon if you had to choose between one of these devices. Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of more videos that I've done like this one. Expose yourself to my whole video catalog. Be sure to keep it locked because I've got so much more content to come. Hit that notification bell so that when my videos go live, you can get notified, check out the content, be one of the first to get down in the comment section, which is where I'll be hanging out, answering or responding to questions, comments, and feedback, criticism, whatever you got for me. All right? Let me know. I'm curious to know what you guys would decide upon. If you guys were getting this phone, one of these phones for free, if somebody were going to hand you one of these for free and it was your choice, which one would you choose? Would you choose the S10 Plus or would you choose the G8? Things that make me go, Let me know down in the comments, y'all. Thanks for stopping by and taking some time with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. And you already know, man, please stay safe, get spiritually fit. We are definitely living in the last days because Revelations is upon us. And it ain't no reason to be afraid because fear is of the devil. Fear is false expectations appearing real. Trust and believe in Christ and Christ alone, and he got you. Ain't nothing to be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? You heard it from Pristine, man. Get spiritually fit. Keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. This is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. This is the LG G8 Thin Q. I'm your man Pristine, bringing you the content, the host. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.